Hey there, Synths. Today we're going to be talking about 3 mega synthesizers you should consider. Hi, I'm Pure Ambient Drone, and this is my channel where I talk about synthesizers. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button, tap that bell to keep up with all of my synth adventures, and please support me over at patreon.com/Pure Ambient Drone. It encourages me to continue on with these videos and my music. Well, we're going to be talking about 3 mega synthesizers that you should consider, and I own 2 of them. The first one I'll talk about is Yamaha Montage. It's a mega machine. It's a monster. It's a beast. This thing continually surprises me. It's got incredible sound. It's got incredible flexibility. It has just about everything you can think of. It's got your strings. It's got your pianos, it's got your drums, it's got your pads, it's got just about everything you need. The analog modeling in it is pretty fantastic. In fact, on the Yamaha Montage, I was checking out some of the analog sounds on there, you know, for the old school synthesis. And I was pitting it up against my Roland Juno 106. And there was times when I was A-Bing some of the sounds that I wouldn't have been able to tell in a blind test if I was listening to the Montage or the Juno 106. Now, I'm not saying that the Montage can replace a Juno 106, so please don't think I'm saying that, because they're both different machines altogether. But what I'm saying is that in a mix, when you're really adding all of these ingredients together, it would be very, very hard to tell whether or not you got yourself a little analog beast or not. Yamaha has done a fantastic job on the Montage, and it's, you know, you could pick one of these up now. I think the 61 key version is under $2,000 now. Now, I know that's a lot of money, but we are talking about mega synthesizers here, okay? We're not talking about, you know, sub 100, or excuse me, sub 1,000 or sub 500. We're talking about mega synthesizers that have a lot to offer. Now, there's a lot of things that are lacking in the Montage, you know, like a full-blown sequencer and such. But, you know, I don't think that takes away from the sound sculpting possibilities. And then you can add samples to it, your own samples. Yeah, you can buy expansion packs for your sound. So there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with the Montage that I would, if I was you, consider purchasing. Now, I got really lucky on mine. I got mine brand spanking new from a local shop. It wasn't a demo. It wasn't an open box. It was brand spanking new, and I got it for a fantastic price. So if you look around, you can find these things cheap enough. You just got to get some connections going and look around. And, you know, hey, secondhand isn't too bad either. Just make sure it's in good shape, right? The other second mega synth that I want to talk about is the Prophet X. And the reason why I want to talk about the Prophet X is because it doesn't get a whole lot of publicity. But did you know that ADO is coming out with a set, and they've already come out with some sound sets that it can emulate the Prophet 5. So, and they're coming out with one that's going to emulate the Jupiter 4. So just imagine this, you're going to have this box that you can program using expansion packs and your own samples as well, and you can make this thing sound just about any way you want it to, you know, to a point. Now again, this is a very expensive machine, topping out about $4,000 brand spanking new. I think you can find them secondhand for just shy of $3K, but I don't know what conditions that you would find one in at that price, but you can find them. I've seen them online. The Prophet X is probably one of the thickest, warmest sounding synthesizers that I've ever put my hands to. It has a really warm analog feel to it. The samples that ADO produced for it are just absolutely out of this world. People like to compare the Prophet X to software. I don't know why they compare it to Omnisphere, because I own Omnisphere. And I'm sorry, but the Prophet X has its own character that, to me, and I'm just saying this for me, is totally different than Omnisphere. I'm not shooting down Omnisphere. It's an extremely powerful beast. For software, it's you know, to me, it's the epitome, right? But the Prophet X, I think, is his own different animal, and there's nothing like it on the market. Just nothing else out there like it. Then on my Patreon site, I have included a video where I talk about the Quantum. So if you want to check that out, go to patreon.com/PeriodBeADrone. Check out that video I did there on the Quantum. That's my third mega synth that I want to talk about here today, the Quantum. And a lot of people are beating it up because it sounds kind of thin. And I agree. I do agree that in most of the demos, it does sound like a very thin sounding synthesizer. Now, I own the Waldorf XT keyboard version, and I own the Micro Q, the Q keyboard. And I've got to tell you that they don't sound so thick either. And I think it's the sound that Waldorf is actually kind of looking for. Now, I'm going to tell you that not every synthesizer in your arsenal has to sound thick and milky, because if it did, then your whole bottom end and your mids would be muddied up, and you'd end up cutting that out with EQ anyhow, right? So I have found that the Waldorf products, for me, in my mixes, they kind of go up towards the top and upper mids to fit in the sound palette. But that's not saying that they can't get down there in the lower range, because they can, okay? Now, I haven't got enough experience with a Quantum. I've never touched one. I've never felt one. But it is definitely a thought that it may end up here in my studio. Excuse me. However, a good afterthought, if you can't afford a Quantum or just don't want to afford a Quantum, would be something like the XT or the Q, right? You could check those out. You find them for a cheaper price. Now, the Quantum is going to be the most expensive, I believe. Yes, it is going to be the most expensive out of the three, topping over $4,000. And I don't see the price coming down anytime soon, but what do I know? I mean, you never know, right? The other thing about the Quantums is it's really hard to find one of those, because there are not a whole lot of them in that are in circulation right now. I guess they're back to the manufacturing stage, making more of them to get them out to some of the synth companies. Last I heard, there's not going to be any available until later this month or even next month. But I don't know. I mean, that's what some of my online music store buddies are telling me, that it may not be around until actually April or something. But hey, that's soon enough, right? But if you haven't already checked out a Prophet X, if you have a local music store, you can go check one out. I would certainly, check one of those out. A Montage. Do your homework before you buy any of these, because these are monster machines, and they have a monster price tag. Now, the reason why I'm talking about mega synthesizers are because not everybody is going to be able to afford or want to afford a mega synthesizer, and that's going to bring your production in music to a different level than what everybody else is doing. Because if you look around online and you're watching some of the videos, a lot of people have the same gear, right? And because of that, a lot of people are sounding the same. I'm not saying that there's no creativity out there. I'm just saying that when you have a lot of the same gear in the same room, you're going to get people that are going to sound similar, especially in synthesis, okay? It's not so bad with guitars and things like that, because guitars are a different instrument. But synthesizers, they have character about them. And if everybody's using the same synth gear, then everybody is going to be sounding similar, especially when you're just doing these little demos or these little tunes. But when you get yourself a hold of a mega synthesizer and you get into the real depth of these beasts of machines, you're going to find that you're going to sound different than other people. Now, I know for a fact that with the Prophet X just by itself, that brings your music to a whole different world, okay? And I'm not the only one that's saying this. Other people that I know that have tried it and own it, they say the same thing. The Prophet X is probably the Cadillac out of these three machines because of the luxury of the sound that it gives you, okay? So I would certainly consider thinking about one of these three megasynths if you want to bring your productions to a different level. And this is just my opinion. I would love to hear from you guys and what you guys think. That's what the comments are for. So, yeah, join me down there and let's talk about it. Let's keep it civil, guys, right? With that being said, I want to thank you guys for watching and supporting me. Please check me out at patreon.com/PeriodBeADrone. pure ambient drone. All the links will be in the video description along with a comment below as well. And I've been uploading some music up there free for my Patreons that support me. So that's cool. I would appreciate you guys checking me out over there. And until next time, keep calm and synth on.